Hello, Proxy Table Gaming viewers. PTG Hyper G back with you once again. And this guest with me is, how can you be even more special than the last one in so many different ways? Tommy T. Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, Steph. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It's an honour.
Well, yeah, we don't get you on this channel enough, Tommy. And I thought to myself,
you're such a sweetie.
If there was ever an opportunity to do so, you've been playing Saurian Ancients a little bit lately, and it's just a perfect chance to get you on here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you. I'm honoured.
Great, and I'm looking forward to your thoughts on what we've got to come. Because this is the core section review of the new Saurian Ancients Alpha Lab book. And, well, I think we're both quite excited about it, aren't we, really?
I am. I'm very excited, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, and I'm sure a lot of people who know you know what you mean. But we won't go into that now, because we have got hype to do, and I don't think we should spend too much longer introducing ourselves or talking about anything like that. We could go straight into it, couldn't we?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Because there's going to be things that we talk about that haven't yet been reviewed by other content providers, and we're going to have to be very careful not to give things away, but we'll do our best, won't we? Of course, I should say, Tommy, actually, one thing that we were talking about before I press record is we can't spoil too much, but we can spoil things that have been reviewed prior to the core section, so characters and all that sort of stuff. That's already come out, so we can talk a little bit about those if we need to. So anyway,
okay.
Without further ado, let me press my little button to move to the core section. And yeah, great, here we go. So, first of all, we can see core section minimum 25%. Now, it's easy to say that's just normal, but actually, Saurian Ancients, we're actually kind of used to 20%, aren't we?
True, yeah. So you're going to have more core
than we used to.
But I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone's going to be raging about that one, really, are they? Because, spoiler alert, not that it's going to be a spoiler for long, we have got more core choices than we used to. So
we've gone from a measly little 2 up to a gargantuan 4.
4 question mark, as we're going to explore later on. And yeah, let's begin with Tegu Warriors, shall we? Now, obviously, they've got a name change, so that's interesting in itself, isn't it? Thoughts on the name change, first of all, before we do and talk about anything else?
I prefer it because it's not the name of the book in the name of the unit, which is good.
Okay.
I don't know the root of Tegu. I'm sure there's some cultural reference that it's attached to, but
yeah, maybe.
Perhaps one of your more enlightened viewers can let us know.
Absolutely, and there is a possibility, whether it be on PTG or on another channel, that one of the lab team designers may actually join one of the content providers in talking about the thoughts behind all of the name changes and things like that. So maybe that will be to come actually in a future video. But yeah, I don't dislike Tegu Warriors, so it's all good. And yeah, so we talk about how about this, right? Because I haven't actually told you about what kind of format we're going to look through these, but how about I do some number crunching for you to begin with, and then we talk about our thoughts on all those, about the unit itself. And ignore the fact that you can see Skink Warriors at the bottom of your screen, we will get to them in a minute. But for now, Tegu Warriors. So, they used to be called Saurian Warriors, did you know? And they are now 210 points for 15. They used to be 235 points for 15. So that's a 25 point reduction already off the bat. And also, extra models are 15 points per model. They used to be 17 points per model. So also, they are cheaper now. You can take 15 to 35. That's the same as what they were. You are now restricted, sorry Mark Greensill, to only 5 units per army. And we don't know how many people will have heard about his Saurian warrior army that he took previously, but that was certainly raised a few eyebrows when it occurred. some time ago, but still, can only have 5 now. They are standard infantry, 25mm. That's the same as what they were, so nothing to worry about there. And then in terms of their stat block, and I realise, Tommy, I am rattling through this, so don't worry, you don't have to try and remember all this. We can always come back to it. They have got a movement of 4-8, which is the same as what they were, but their discipline has now been moved down from 8 to 7. That's definitely a talking point for later. And in terms of the special rules on the top line, they've now got communal bond and scoring instead of cold-blooded and scoring. And as was explained in our previous video, cold-blooded has now been kind of morphed into communal bond, so it's kind of the same thing. And then second line of the stats is exactly the same as what it used to be. So 1-3-4-2 with shield. Sounds like a football formation almost. And then in the attacking side of things, 2 attacks still, 3 offensive skill, 4 strength, 1 AP, 2 agility, and instead of Born Predator, they've now got Lodestone, which again was reviewed in the previous video of ours. And I guess Lodestone is what Born Predator used to be. So I'll pause there because that is a lot to take in. Have you got any thoughts on those before we talk about the bottom half, the bottom section of the unit entry?
Yeah, so obviously the big one is the drop in their discipline.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a big deal, but I guess from someone who played against Saurian Ancients many, many times, it always felt like they were way too reliable in terms of discipline.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think that's been the attempt, is to make them still reliable, because they will still be very reliable, but not quite as ridiculous as they used to be. So I'm fine with it, but yeah, it is a change, and obviously that's probably the reason for the points drop.
Yeah, I would say so.
Lodestone is an awesome rule. It's really cool. I love Lodestone.
Good.
Give me more Lodestone. And yeah, the rest of it's basically the same.
Yeah, so talking about Lodestone then, because obviously myself and Scubvat did review the rule itself, but we couldn't really apply it to units that it was on, and it's not on many units. So this is a great opportunity to talk about it on a unit it's on. It is effectively +1 to hit if your opponent has medium armor or better, as opposed to always getting reroll 1s to hit. You like that, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You think that's as good?
No, I don't think it's as good, but I just like it because I think armor is kind of too good in this game. So
sure.
Anything that says damnation to you, armor, is a good thing, I think. But no, I don't think it's as good, but it's fun and I like it.
Cool, excellent. And sorry, I mean, I don't mean to fly straight back to discipline, but I guess another reason why they have reduced the discipline is because now this unit being scoring is giving out an 8-inch bubble of not only minimised discipline tests, but also potentially its own discipline score. So if it were giving out an 8 discipline in an 8-inch bubble, that's kind of a character kind of purpose, isn't it?
Yeah,
you don't really want that role on a core unit necessarily. So
yeah, true.
Again, it makes a lot of sense that it is discipline 7 rather than the old 8. And I mean, I don't think too many people are worried about there only being 5 in an army. I don't think people will get to 5. I could be wrong. And being a bit cheaper is kind of nice as well. So, do we think they're too powerful for an alpha, or are you happy enough with what they look like? Because you are both a Saurian player and against Saurian player. So
I am, Staff. Yeah, yeah, I am. No, I don't think they're too powerful at all. I mean, they've never been super powerful as a unit, but they've always been a really good scoring choice. So yeah, I think that's kind of what they do. They're really good against some things, and not so good against others.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think that maintains into the new book. So yeah, they're great. I love them.
Great, cool. So let's talk about the bottom half of the unit entry then. So Spears, which is kind of a mainstay of this unit, I would say, is that they're now 3 points per model instead of 2 points per model. I don't think that's terribly unexpected, but we'll discuss that in a second. The options for the command models are champion and standard, because of course you now get a free musician as part of Communal Bond. That's another one I'd love to hear your opinion on in a minute, Tommy. The banner enhancement is still an option for the unit, thank goodness. And we've lost totem animals entirely, but gained a wizard enclave with Awaken the Beast. Over to you, Tommy. What's your thoughts on all of those? Spears being cheap and more expensive, first of all?
Yeah, probably fine because spears are really good.
Yeah.
Especially, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but just in case something were to be joining this unit and making it significantly deeper,
Absolutely,
then spears would be more handy there. Losing the totem animals is probably the biggest nerf.
Yeah, I would
aside
say
from the
so.
discipline. So that's a shame. I liked them because they give a bit of variety, but obviously with the new book, there's so much variety that you can do with these units that I don't think you really need them anymore. So
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
I'd say so. Yeah.
The Enclave Wizard you can get, it's quite pricey. You know, that's going to set you back 80 points, but Awaken the Beast is an amazing spell.
Isn't it just? Yeah. It's probably not the number one learn spells are generally quite good across the board, but I would say Awaken the Beast is one of the biggest utility for buffs, isn't it, really? So
definitely, yeah.
You know, suits most occasions.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the free musician as part of Unibond?
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So you've not already rushed all your Saurian models and snapped off the musician arms or anything?
Just taking a hammer to all of the drums and pipes and all the weird musical instruments that they were great at playing.
Absolutely. I mean, I am not a hobby person, as you well know, but I have already disassembled one of my Raptor Rider musicians, so there you go.
What large blunt object did you use to disassemble him?
Yeah, it wasn't part of me accidentally dropping it either, so there you go. Cool. Right.
So do you think that we're going to see a lot of Enclave Wizards in Tegu Warriors?
I think we might see it to begin with, but I guess it all depends on your whole list building, because which we haven't been able to spoil is the fact that there's quite a lot of units that can take these Enclave Wizards with potentially different spells. So it all depends on what else you've got in your list further down. I think that if you are choosing other unit entries with Enclave Wizards, then this one might be one you choose not to take, for reasons I won't spoil at the moment. But I think if you haven't got many wizard enclaves or enclave wizards, then this one might be in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was a very good answer, Steph. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I like that answer.
Excellent. Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think you might see them, but probably not if you're going to actually use the unit to fight.
Sure. Yeah,
that makes sense.
You might have them as a support unit behind the unit that actually needs the Awaken the Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually one of the things that you expressed a concern with before we started recording was that your Enclave Wizard, because it's a champion model and will be in the front rank, maybe it will just get pumped at the start of combat, and then if you put an Enclave Wizard in a unit into combat, you might be losing your Enclave Wizard straight away, and that must be a concern for all Saurians generals now, I guess.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But one thing I quickly did point out, and which you didn't disagree with, was that the Enclave Wizard does get an extra HP, so it's potentially a little bit harder to kill. So there is an immediate counterbalance to that threat.
True.
Okay, so all right, let's have Tommy, thumbs up or thumbs down for this unit?
Thumbs firmly up from me.
Great, well, thumbs up from me as well. I love myself as Saurian Warriors. They are my favourite core model in the game, actually. Like, full stop.
The only downside, Steph, is I'm probably going to have to paint some more of them.
Sure. Yeah, there is that. I mean, I own 60 of them, so I think I'm okay. But there you go. Sorry, Gobbo, you won't be painting.
Get it out and wave it around.
Too right, yeah. They're painted by me, though, so nowhere near Gobbo standards, so but never mind. Right, are we happy with that deduction? Shall we move on to the next core unit?
Let's get into some Skink Warriors.
All right, great. I'll scroll down to some Skinky Warriors, and again, ignore the way that I've drifted it into Skink Hunters at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to those in a moment. Were you happy with the number crunching format? Shall I throw you with
Yeah,
the
go
top
for it.
section and then we'll
Hit us with
discuss as
some
we go?
numbers, staff.
Great, I love it. I love it. I actually enjoyed coming up with these. Actually, sometimes it's a bit of a bore when I don't know the army book, but because it's one I love, I actually enjoyed this. So we used to be called Skink Braves, which was ironic, I thought. Now we are Skink Warriors, which again I think is better, but we'll see your opinions on that in a minute.
Is that not also quite ironic?
Well, true, yeah. Very true, very true. They're just not brave anymore, but they're braver. But anyway, you're distracting me. So we used to get 15 for 130. Now we're getting 20 for 140. So technically, you are having to spend 10 points extra, but you're getting 5 extra skinks. Is that a reason to celebrate? We'll find out in a second. The extra models are slightly more expensive, 6 points for extra instead of 5. And now, because of starting with 20, the size of the unit is 20 to 40 instead of 15 to 40, which is what it was. Again, we've got a maximum of 5 units in the army. It used to be 4, so that one did have a limit previously, not that anyone noticed. The standard infantry 20mm hasn't changed. In terms of top line stats, we have gone from 612 to 612, so that's the same, thankfully. But we have gained a discipline on Skink Warriors. So yeah, drop the name Brave and gain discipline. Make sense of that if you can. Communal Bond has replaced Cold Blooded, of course. Scoring is still there. And one thing that was very missing that is very missing from this Saurian book is Strider, water terrain. Forget about water now, Saurian players, and you can stop having a go at your opponent when they don't put out water terrain. Because we don't care for water terrain anymore, apparently. Skinks certainly don't. Moving into the second line of the stats, the numbers are exactly the same, 1, 2, 2, 1. But we have gained Fortitude, 6 up, and Shields as standard, whereas before you had to, not always pay for shields, but there was a shield option instead of automatically getting it like you do now. And then in terms of the bottom stat line, it's almost the same up until Agility, which I think is possibly a controversial one to have reduced from 4 to 3. So once again, I will pause there, Tommy. Talk us through your thoughts, in any order, of course, but feel free to hit me with your first thought.
Bigger starting size is kind of a big deal, I think.
Yeah, extra HP.
Yeah, so they're going to hang around for longer. Panic tests are going to be less frequent. Yeah, the discipline change is great. It never really made sense to me which skink units had 6 and which had 5 in the past. So
sure.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. Then now we've got Fortitude 6 up all the time. That's really good. Obviously, you're going to be taking lots of them because these guys die in droves.
Yeah, although I would say, funnily enough, the reason they mostly die in droves is pyromancy. So, that ain't going to help there, is it?
Yeah, true. I don't know, yeah. But I like it. It's cool to have a weird little janky special save all the time. That's good. Then the Agility 3, that's kind of that's pretty bad actually.
Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of really enjoyed attacking early with skinks because anything you actually did with them was always a real reason to celebrate. And now you might not even get the chance to throw those dice with Agility 3. But hey, it is what it is. And that has changed for all skinks across the board, actually, hasn't it? So
so it's probably more impactful for others, but other units, but it's still, I think it's kind of significant. But anyway.
Yeah.
And 0 to 5 units. Was that in the old book?
It was 4 units in the old book.
Okay. So we can be more cloudy.
Yes.
If we want to be.
Yeah, if you're using these as your cloud, that is. Because potentially, not although my screen has slightly spoiled it with showing some skink hunters on the bottom. Maybe these guys aren't your cloud anymore. Because let's face it,
not.
I mean, that's a good way to move on to the bottom half of the unit actually, because this unit doesn't have a choice for ranged weapons actually. So now they have a choice for spears, which was never possible. So a new one for modelling choices. All hobbyists out there, get your spears at the ready. Previously, they had a choice of shields for free, bows for 1 point a model, a max of 40 in the army, or shields and poison javelins. So all of those are gone. You've got shields included automatically, and now you've got spear as a choice. Whether that's controversial or not, I'll hold fire on that comment. As per the Tegu warriors, you've now got champion standard with a free musician instead of your full command option. Again, you've got banner enhancement, which is cool. And this time, you're replacing the option of putting Kaimans into the unit as a skink option, and you're gaining the Wizard Enclave with healing waters. So unravel that one, Tommy. Where do you want to start with those?
Well, let's start with the weapon options first.
Sure.
I think the point with the weapon option is that now that we've got a separate unit entry for skink hunters,
Yes.
that's where the poison javelins go.
100%. So let's not worry about that at all.
Yeah. But spears are going to be really good to get some AP and some fighting extra ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Parry obviously did save a lot of skink lives in the past.
Temporarily, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're just going to take a huge brick of these with spears and trust to steadfast.
Sure.
The Enclave Wizard, Healing Waters is a really great spell. I mean, it's very good. Obviously, as you pointed out beforehand, before we started recording stuff, that doesn't really pair that well with this particular unit because you've already got a Fortitude, so you're only gaining a slightly better Fortitude.
Yes, but it does open up Oaken Throne for the unit as well, which is a weird one. And that obviously is a 4-up Fortitude instead of 5-up if you cast it on top of the boosted, the Oaken Throne. But yeah, like you say, is it really them that's going to be using the healing waters though?
Yeah, not sure. Without wishing to spoil anything, Mr. Swamp Swimmer, your skink blender is back in a big way, but we won't go into how you build it, but it's there. If you want to play combat skinks, you can do.
Yeah, well, I wonder actually, because Glory of Golden State Gaming, Swamp Swimmer, obviously, they will have done some essay review between the first video PTG did and this one. So I wonder, because at the time we're recording this, we won't have seen that video. Maybe he's already spoiled it, so we just don't know. Maybe he's already...
I hope he has, because he will be so elated to see his beloved skink blender.
Absolutely, yeah.
In such glorious fashion as well.
Too true. I mean, there was a time many years ago when PTG was doing a wooden spoon cup, and I did have the skink Death Star. And I'm intrigued to see whether I can bring that back for one last go. But you never know. Maybe it's not so much of a wooden spoon choice now. Who knows?
I don't think it is stuff. I think it's legit.
Okay.
I think you better fear these skinks on the table. They're gonna mess you up real bad.
Fantastic.
I love it. You're not gonna like it.
So, and that's even though, because we don't know yet what's coming, even though they haven't at the moment got Kaimans in, right?
No, totally not.
Who are we kidding, right? Okay, so I'll ask you the question again then. Thumbs up or thumbs down for the Skink Warriors?
Oh, very much thumbs up for me. Yeah, I like them a lot.
Cool. I'm thumbs up as well. And I think mainly because we know we have got Skink Hunters. I'd be a bit concerned if we'd lost the option of Poison Javelins altogether.
Certainly.
And from modelling purposes as well, you know, because obviously the hobbyists are in force when it comes to book changes. Some of them might be fearing about their bow skinks that they've got, but that's just a different entry later on in the book with the bows. And also, if you've kitted out your units with javelins, maybe they just count as mini spears, so you might be alright anyway. You know, do actual real...
That's what I'm trusting to... guys, yeah.
Same.
My units with pointed sticks, they're spears now, not javelins.
Absolutely, you got it. Yeah, I mean, I only own 14 with spears. The rest are with blowpipes, so I'll have to figure that out if I do take a unit because 14's less than the minimum. But we'll work it out. Hobbyists, we'll work it out. Cool. All right, shall we move into Skink Hunters, Tommy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So this one obviously less of a comparison to do because. Is there actually anything to compare with? And the answer is no. So really, we can just talk about this as we see it, Tommy. Really. but I will sort of say it out loud just for the sake of it. So we've got a Skink Hunter unit, 10 of them for 170 points, at 6 points per extra model. Maximum of 2 units in your army though, so if you are thinking Skink Cloud, you've only got 2 units in core, so think on that one maybe. Your top stat block is the same as the Skink Warriors, so with Discipline 6, so that's good stuff. This unit has light troops, which is different to the core Skink option that we previously had, because that was kind of a clunky unit without light troops, I would say, in the previous book. And now with light troops, it is just so much easier to move around. So I think that's a massive thumbs up just on its own before we even get into the rest of the discussion.
Hugely.
Yeah. I mean, I just hated taking that. I mean, I know Skink Cloud was a great thing of the old book, but I just hated taking that unit because I just hated moving them. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. The second line is very much the same as the other unit, except we've lost shields, which is fine because technically this unit probably shouldn't be fighting ever. And the bottom line is the poison javelins line, which is your automatic weapon. You don't have the choice of putting bows on these, but like I've said, that's in a separate unit later on in the book, so do not fear. And similar to the Skink Warriors, you get your champion with Enclave Wizard option, and again it's Healing Waters. So over to you, Tommy, with your thoughts on this unit.
As you mentioned, this unit is going to be a favourite for the Cloud players.
Yeah.
March 12 and light troops is really good. I mean, that is going to be a nightmare to tie down.
Definitely.
It's just going to float around the side of your monster, chuck javelins at them, not die, and make you hate life. So look forward to that.
Only 2 units, though. Only 2 units.
Yeah, 2 units, so you can't do it. It's not going to be abusive.
No.
They're quite expensive as well, really. 17 points for the starting and then 6 for each if you want to take more than just the 10.
Yeah.
The other thing is that according to the little symbols next to the unit entry name, it looks like they're coming out of your gorilla cap as well.
Sure, which we're a little bit unsure on, because usually it would state that under the line, the Skink Hunters, it would say, any that you take also come out of the gorilla category. So we're a little bit unsure about that one, so we can't actually give you a proper answer as to why that symbol is showing there.
But it would make sense, right?
It would make sense for them to count as gorillas as well.
Then moving on to the options for the unit. You've only got one, haven't you? And it's the Enclave Wizard, and I think this is the unit where you would take the champion with Enclave Wizard.
Yeah, I think so. Especially if you're not planning on running up. If you're not planning on running up and killing a monster and then dying horribly afterwards, then you're probably sitting back with an Enclave Wizard, aren't you? One or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe both, but I would just fairly ballsy if you are moving forward for a monster and Enclave Wizarding at the same time. But who knows?
Yeah.
With that escape possibility, with that, March 12 light troops, maybe you don't need to worry about being caught. Who knows?
Yeah, it's as long as you aren't facing something hideously shooty.
Yeah.
That's going to take you off. That's worth thinking about.
I'm
not sure there's not much else to say. I mean, they're only going to have a 6-up armor and a 6-up fortitude. So they will really die very quickly if you so much as look at them with a spell or a gun or bow or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if pyromancy comes at these guys, they don't even get the 6-up fortitude. So yeah, they are going to be dead quickly if something does get them. But hey, that's one of those things, I guess. Skink lives always in danger. One thing
they don't matter.
I was leading you in there. One thing to note, which we're not planning on spoiling a lot, because the special section has not, and the gorilla section has not been talked about yet in this hype train. We don't want to talk about everything, but at the same time we don't want to ignore it either. Whereas the Skink Warrior unit, which we covered a moment ago, more often than not has Kaimans as part of its compound unit options. The Skink Hunters also have a compound unit option, don't they, Tommy?
They do, yeah.
And
a very good one as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really cool little addition for them. I am going to a little bit spoil it because, we've not been told what we can't spoil. But I am going to say what unit it is, and then we're not actually going to talk about it too much, Tommy, because we don't want to give the
You
stats
naughty
away.
boy.
Yeah.
Naughty
So,
boy stuff. You're
I know.
teasing the viewer.
Absolutely, it's what I do best, especially without Lucky Sixes here to do the usual kind of teasing. Skink Hunters can be compound units with weapon beasts, salamanders and spearbacks.
Ooh.
So that is the perfect reaction because that's what I feel. I mean, like I say, we're not going to talk about the changes to spearbacks and salamanders at all because there are a few tweaks here and there.
Really significant changes, yeah.
Indeed.
But, yeah, just you wait, viewer. You will be loving it.
Yeah, I think so. And don't forget as well that once you put a weapon beast in with a skink hunter unit, that unit becomes a compound unit, which means it's giving out an 8-inch discipline bubble, minimized discipline bubble. So it's not only the combination of those two juicy units together, but the effect that they have on your battle line as well. There's so many knock-on effects of that. So it's really hard not to talk about that as a whole tactical option. Maybe those who come across and review the weapon beasts will be able to do that. But yeah, I'm almost excited. I almost want to be the one to talk about that, but we're not assigned to that section. So so I must stop there. Stop me, Tommy. Right. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Skink Hunters?
Thumbs up, but not as much as the other units because I'm not a fan of the cloud playstyle. So
sure, but
it's a great unit though, and better players than me are gonna wreck people with these things. So
sure. So you still think there is a Skink cloud community, even though it's restricted to 2 units of these?
Well, yeah, because of the other entries in the book. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. So you just think it's not going to be a core Skink cloud anymore?
No.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Right, lovely. So, I mean, surely, Saurian Ancients, we're on our 3rd core unit. Surely we're done with core, right?
Yeah, done and dusted.
Yeah. No, you'd be wrong.
Go home, put the kettle on.
Yeah, let's scroll down and see. Wait a minute, boys and girls, what have we got here? I mean, this was kind of. I imagine this was spoiled in the teasers that came out before the book. But Kaiman warriors are in core, Tommy. What is this about?
Oh my goodness.
Monsters
in large infantry in core.
Yeah.
What is this?
I know. It's just insane, isn't it? I mean, now it has been mentioned multiple times that Kaimans, used to go with skink units if you wanted to put them together. But now the whole book has a way of making compound units. It's listed right at the start of the book, so it's kind of more prominent. And these are the guys that are going to be in your skink warriors, pretty much. But there's a few little details within this entry that you get all excited about seeing Kaimans in core, and then you see a couple of details, which I'll go into in a second, which kind of rein you in a little bit. So let me talk about those. So let's
crunch some numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so what we've got then, they used to be flat up Kaimans. They're now Kaiman warriors, which I think is fine, whatever. We used to get 3 models for 205 points. Now we're getting 3 models for 165. So that is a whopping 40-point discount. And also, they used to cost 69 points per extra model. Now they're a mere 45. What the hell? However, we have got a unit size of 3 to 8 models in this, when it used to be 3 to 10. So our unit is a little bit smaller. But then, we've got this extra little flag, which says 0 to 8 models per army. Wow. So, I mean, I know, that's immediately your little thing that you see, and you think, okay, there's my Kaiman core army gone, right there. But yes, anyway, we'll keep moving. We're still large infantry and 40mm, thank goodness, so no hobby issues there. And our stat block, 6, 12, 7, that's stayed the same. We used to have cold-blooded scoring and Strider Water. Now, Communal Bond has replaced cold-blooded. Scoring is still there. And Strider Water is just not a Saurian thing anymore. So that's not terribly unexpected. In terms of the middle stat block, exactly the same. No changes to report. And then in terms of the offensive stat block, a bit of a change because we've got 3 attacks and 3 offensive. That's the same. But we've now got Strength 4 AP1 instead of Strength 5 AP2. And we've also lost an Agility from 2 down to 1. And as well as that, as if there wasn't already enough to discuss for a minute, because we will pause at the end of this, we've got Tooth and Claw instead of Born Predator. So Born Predator has not been directly replaced by Lodestone in this entry. So there you go. And I'm going to breathe. And Tommy, talk.
So it's we're comparing it to the old
Special
unit, which
choice.
is fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, the major thing is this is coming out of your core points now.
Yes, despite the symbol, which we've noticed might be an error.
Yeah.
We're hoping that'll get clarified or corrected pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because the symbol showing the 2 horizontal swords, that is the special symbol, not the core symbol. We're hoping that is just a typo because they're quite clearly in the core section. So yeah, carry on.
So I mean that's just a huge change, and really bears thinking about. Obviously, the 0 to 8 models per army is so that you don't generate like some weird lizard ogre army.
Yeah, sure.
So that's good. They are scoring, so they're giving out the bubble of minimized leadership and that 7 as well. So that's going to be really good for all of your skink units. Obviously the big thing is they've lost to strength and AP.
Yeah.
But Tooth and Claw is potentially a very good weapon option.
Yeah, and just to remind ourselves what Tooth and Claw is, it's a 2-handed weapon, and it gives lethal strike and lightning reflexes to the unit, which is pretty insane.
Very good, yeah. Very good indeed.
I mean, actually, before you say anything further, Tommy, I know I keep interrupting you, which is probably really rude and frustrating for you. But what's your opinion on Tooth and Claw?
Yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, really good. Because there's lots of different ways, magic ways that you can buff the strength or at least affect the wound roll. So just having +1 to hit all the time is amazing, and having lethal strike as well is amazing, and it's another big poo-poo to good armor. So yeah, I think it's great. Obviously, losing agility is a bit bad, but at the same time, 2 is not that much better than 1, so it's probably not the end of the world.
True.
Yeah, but it's just like you can have a big brick of 8 large infantry in core. That's amazing. That's really cool. And they're cheap. They're so cheap. 165 for 3.
They really are cheap, and probably one of the reasons that I can say for them being cheap is because there is another Kaiman unit entry in the special section, which they
are not strength 4.
No, they are not. And, I mean, we're not going to talk about them pretty much at all because, they're just a whole separate entity in themselves, and they're definitely not limited to 8 models per army. Actually, I don't think they are, but I'll double check that now. But
don't scroll down.
No, God, I'm getting in a lot of trouble if I did that. Probably with the content providers more than the actual lab people. No, they're not. They're not 8 models per army. They're actually slightly more, but not much more. Anyway, so let's talk about the bottom half then, before we talk overall about the whole thing. They can get halberds, which is fine at 4 points a model. But no great weapon options here, which obviously is possibly a little sad when you've got agility 1. But hey, it is what it is.
For that.
Yeah. And then you get your combined strength Skink Warriors. So obviously this is replacing the fact that Skink Warriors could have them as unit upgrades before. Now it's the other way around, where the Kaimans get the option to go into the Skinks or be separate. And remember, even if you take this combined strength for 10 points per Kaiman model and a maximum of 4 models, so not 8, 4 models in your Kaimans, even if you take that, you don't actually have to put them in the Skinks or make the decision until your choosing spells phase of each battle. So that's a real utility option. Even if you take 4 and intend to put Mincing Warriors, maybe at the start of a battle you decide you don't want to do that. That's fine. However, the point that you need to remember about that is if you are intending on putting 4 Kaiman Warriors into a Skink Warrior unit, they do lose their champion and banner enhancement. So potentially, if you are planning on combining the units, don't pay for those upgrades, because there is another champion with Enclave Wizard option and a standard bearer with banner enchantment choice. And the Awaken the Beast, again, is with the Enclave Wizard, which is really cool to see again. Thoughts, Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, Halberd is a nicer option to have. I'm not sure if you're going to take it or not. That's probably flavour.
Yeah, because it would replace your Tooth and Claw, which we've already said is amazing.
You can't have both. Yeah. The combined strength option, it's as you say, it's really cool because you don't have to write it down on your arm list who's going in where. You make that decision before you start deploying. So yeah, it's really cool. If you don't fancy putting them together, you don't have to. You can deploy them separately and have 2 different units.
And of course, because this separate unit on its own is scoring, they are essentially still giving out that Discipline 7 bubble, like you mentioned right at the start, which is cool. Obviously, once they join the Skinks, they are still giving out that Discipline 7 bubble, but it's from the Skink unit, which because they're all still scoring, so it's all good.
The Wizard upgrade option, Enclave Wizard. Are you going to take that? I'm not sure. I mean, the champion obviously doesn't get the extra health point bonus, which is kind of a negative, sort of. But it's a great spell, and it's another channel if you do.
Yeah, I mean, also there's the extra factor is that if you have actually used your champion to cast Awaken the Beast, the champion can only be wounded on 5s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because of the attribute from shamanism. So that might be a way of casting it and keeping him alive. I guess it's only on the champion model rather than all of the guest Kaiman warriors. But they wouldn't be guests actually if you were casting that with the Kaiman, because they'd lose the spell if they're going into a unit of Skinks. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind about keeping your champion alive, potentially. Is there anything more you want to say about this unit before I ask you for the thumbs up, thumbs down?
Not. I don't think so. No, I mean it's just a really awesome unit, and it's a great option to have in core.
Cool.
Play it, guys. Play your heart out and enjoy it because it's fucking awesome.
All right, so I'll leave you 2 different thumbs up, thumbs down choices here. So Kaiman Warriors as separate standalone units. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Big thumbs up.
Big thumbs up. Cool. And Kaiman Warriors as compound units with Skink Warriors. Without Wizard Enclave. Still thumbs up?
Yeah, probably thumbs up, yeah, but maybe you're going to do something else with your Skink Warriors.
Sure.
And so you're not going to have your Kaiman Warriors in there. But maybe. And luckily, you don't have to make that decision until you start deploying.
Yeah, exactly. You could still have them and just not put them together with that. Or you could have whatever Tommy is alluding to and Kaiman Warriors in your...
Pick and choose.
Yeah, because there is that too. There's no limit to how many different types of guest units you can have in a host Skink unit, potentially. So think about that one as well, maybe. Alright, so that is the end of our 4-unit core model comparison or review or whatever you want to call it. However, there is a cheeky little extra that we're going to tag on to this video because there may be a way of getting a 5th unit into your core selection. Isn't that cheeky that we're going to go into that, Tommy?
Yeah, very cheeky. And maybe very, very good as well. But we'll talk about it, yeah.
Let's talk about that now. So we've got Raptor Pack, and I'll read it straight from the book, units of 8 or more models without ambush and corrosive spitter count towards core instead of special. So that's quite nice, isn't it, Tommy?
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
So we've
Good
got
to
a
have
fifth core option.
another core option. Yeah, which is crazy that we've gone from 2 to 5. Really, not 4.
Yeah, exactly. And just to look at this, you get 5 in your basic unit for 120 points, which is cheap as chips. Let's say that right now. Or at least I think so. You might have a different opinion. But I mean, the options that you see on screen do talk about one choice only: ambush, corrosive spitter, and it does tell you a bit about what corrosive spitter is. But those you cannot take if you're going to be choosing them as a core entry. So do bear that in mind, that we are talking generally about core units here. But you can have up to 15 models in your unit. So why stop at 8 if you like the unit, right?
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, are you just going to be
bonkers.
stopping at 8 though? Because to get them in core.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly. You are limited to a max of 2 units per army. So again, unless you're somehow, I don't know how many points it would be for 15 and 2 units of that. Is that going to fill up your core? Probably not. But yes, in terms of stat block, you've got 714, and I am very aware that we're not talking about Raptor Riders, which is a different entry in the book. So don't worry, they haven't gone. This is obviously just a different version of Raptors. And so stat block wise, I'm not comparing them to the old Raptor Riders or the new. These are treated as a separate entry. Yeah, stat block 714 movement with discipline 6, which is same discipline as Skinks, which is kind of cool, really.
Yeah, it's quite good.
It's and also I'm wondering whether there's a typo or not, and I don't want to put blame on it, but they're listed as cavalry, and I'm not entirely sure they'll stay as cavalry. I think they might go to beasts because they don't have riders. Really. They should really be beasts.
But it means you can't be thunderstomped, so that's good.
Indeed, yeah. So maybe we want to stick with cavalry. They are the same size as Raptor Riders. They've got communal bond. They've got Pack Hunter, which is the rule that Scabvat and I discussed in the other review, which means that if you charge more than one unit into the same target, you get to re-roll the failed charge, which is cool. And they also got Strider Forest. So we do see Strider in the book somewhere. It's just not Strider Water anymore, so it's Strider Forest for them, which is interesting. Middle stat block, HP 1, Defensive 3, Res 4, Armor 2. Probably what you'd expect to see there. And then in terms of the offensive stat block, Attacks 2, Offensive 3, Strength 4, AP 2. Got an extra AP pip there. Where's that come from? And Agility 4. I mean, that's very different, Agility 4.
Very different, yeah.
I mean, that's doubled. And considering Skinks have gone down, Raptors have gone up. So, yeah, read into that what you will. I'm not going to talk about Ambush and Corrosive Spitter because it doesn't really link up to core section. I mean, feel free to talk about that if you want, Tommy. I'm not going to stop you. But yeah, thoughts on what I've said about this?
Yeah, very interesting. So the AP 2, which is very good, and yeah, Agility 4, that's really high, isn't it, for this book?
It is.
And yeah, I love the Pack Hunter rule. That's really cool. I guess this unit is going to be trying to make sort of long bomb charges to try and get into stuff because it's so cheap, it's kind of throwaway anyway.
Yeah.
And it does actually pack quite a bit of damage with 2 attacks apiece.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not going to talk about Ambush and Corrosive Spitter too much, but
no,
obviously having an ambush unit of guys of any unit ambushing is really good, so that's a nice option to have. Not sure if you're going to play it or not. And then Corrosive Spitter is just a weird shooting attack, but I'm not sure if you'll play it. You'll probably if you're taking this unit, I imagine you're going to take it to fill out core points.
Yeah, definitely. Because either as chaff or as filling out core, whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good chaff unit for very little points. 120 points for chaff is insanely cheap, really. And Strider Forest, I didn't notice that the first time, but that's really good because forests are one of those very prevalent terrain pieces in our game.
Aren't they just? Yeah, very much so.
Whereas water is hardly ever present, and the old book had Strider water for all the skinks. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
the Raptor pack is really squishy though. Just toughness, resilience 4 with 5 up armor, so they will die like flies.
Yeah,
And if you do make long charges, you're probably going to be outside of the communal bond
yeah,
discipline bubbles.
indeed.
So you'll be on discipline 6, which is not great.
No, although there is something that again we won't spoil too much because
Yes.
a certain unit elsewhere in the book, and not even in special, that's how much of a spoiler I'm going to throw, may be able to choose Raptor Pack as a compound unit option. And I mean, I don't know about you, but it was that combination was in my first army list, Tommy. It might be something a bit scarier than a Raptor Pack.
That compound unit is very nasty. Yeah.
And of course, once they become a compound unit, they do give out that minimized discipline bubble. Even without being scoring. So
and the buffs they get for being joined by that other unit are really significant, guys. So I think it's great to have another core option. You can play them as chaff, you can give them the cool upgrades available, or you can make them a compound unit. I mean, there's just like the options in this book are so enormous. It's just so much more dynamic than the old one.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that they've managed to do all these different options for list building without really changing a great deal about the actual army itself, like the units in it. I mean, they must have known when writing this book that I had built years ago 8 Raptor riders and never got around to painting the riders. They must have known, because I have 8 in my garage right now that are just Raptors without riders. And now I've got 8 ready to go. That's just amazing. You've seen me use them as proxy a fair amount of times on this channel.
We have, definitely. So, we're very familiar with your riderless Raptors.
Absolutely.
Now their own unit.
Now they're a unit. Great. It couldn't be better. So thank you for that.
They are 0 to 2 units and armies, so you can't cloud with them, but that's fine. You probably wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah,
big thumbs up from me. I think they're good. Not sure I'll play them that often, but it's cool to have another core option, and who knows, they might be a lot more punchy than they look.
Indeed. Yeah, rah. Anyway, thank you very much, Tommy. We've got an overwhelming all thumbs up out of that core section. Can you believe that?
I know.
I mean, wait for the comments to come in and shout us down.
Let the nerd rage flow.
Absolutely, yeah, too right. Thank you very much for your company, Tommy. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. I know that SA is definitely one recently to your heart, if nothing else.
Yeah, very much stuff. Yeah, very close to my cold, slowly beating heart.
Too right. I should mention as well that Tommy has probably done me a blessing by saying that we shouldn't have cameras on, because it means that my dodgy Wi-Fi and audio that I had in the last book has been completely corrected by just having animated pictures of us instead. So that's the reason for that, FYI. So hopefully this has been a little bit of a better quality video for you in terms of audio. So there is that too. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to check out the other reviews that are going on from the other content providers. I know that, like I say, Glory of Golden State have already come up with some sections earlier on in the book. And also Evershade Gaming have done a battle report, which is well worth checking out on their channel. Thanks to the lab team for allowing us access to this earlier on. I hope you are enjoying the hype train, because we certainly are. And can't wait to... it's only a few days now until release. So... yeah, get cracking on the army lists in a few days' time, and I'll probably end it there. Really, thank you again, Tommy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Smash like and subscribe, and fill up the comments with all the vitriol and hate.
Oh man, I can't believe I didn't even tell you to say that. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. And of course, Tommy, you are one of the very valued Patreons of ours. So if you fancy joining that elite class of people that Tommy is one of, then then it would be massively appreciated.
Join Staff's OnlyFans, guys. Join his OnlyFans. It's great. Well worth it.
Too right. Yeah, I mean, Tommy is one of the people that gets all the scoops. Let's put it that way. All right, cool down. Okay, so I'll end it there on that note. Thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you again very soon. Hopefully, for a full army book review when Lucky Sixes emerges from wherever he's gone in the last few days, and maybe even Tommy can join us for that. We'll see how we go. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Get your skin so back, relax,